Hey, good morning. Jim Hall here. Just wanted to come to you real quick. Today I'm going to do a little bit of actually not editing, but moving my email lists around. And I wanted to show you that while I do it for real instead of just training on it, because I can actually do all of the clicks. A lot of times I'll do a video after I've already done my sorting, and then I don't have anybody to actually sort, so I can kind of just give you what I would have done. But I have a couple that I'm going to sort. I haven't sent my daily email out yet, so I'll let you look over my shoulder and see exactly what I do. And I'm pretty new at doing this to this extent, so you have to bear with me a little bit. But I've gone through this about a week now, and so I'm getting fairly familiar with it. But that's okay, because that'll make me go a little slower than I normally would, and maybe you'll get a little more out of it. Alright, so let's go ahead and share my screen. You can give me a thumbs up on this video if you like the content, and let me move over to sharing my screen. Oh, there's another thumbs up. Didn't know it was over there too. All right. Let me move me down here so I don't look so weird. I don't know why, but I have not been able to grab my window here. Normally, I can grab that. Maybe I can't do that when I'm recording. I think I have before. Oh, well. So we'll be right there. Hopefully that works out okay. So let's move over to getResponse. And in getResponse, of course, if you know me, I track everything very, very strictly. Man, I really want to be able to... Have I got it locked or something? I don't know why I can't move it. Usually I get a little bar that lets me move my person around. I'm going to end up in the way. See if I usually use it different. No, that's the one I usually use. Why is it not letting me do it? Sorry, checking some things out here. I'd like to move my person out of the way, but it is not allowing me to do it. Let me see if I can move that up. Display capture. If I move it up to the top, nope, that makes me disappear. Very strange. Something has changed, because I can... Let me go back to stars. No, something is locked. Okay, so I got to figure out what's going on with that. Sorry. So we will move on. And here we go. So, as I was saying, I track a lot of stuff. Every time I do a new ad campaign, every time I buy new leads, I send them to a new list. So I have a ton of lists. As you can see, a lot of them have gone down to zero because they've gone through my system. They've moved over to what I call a 30-minute work day, open or no open. Okay, so let me see if I can find it here. Okay, we have a 30-minute no, which means 30-minute work day. This stands for Seinfeld message, something I'm learning from another mentor, and then no open. This one, as you see, is 30-minute work day, Seinfeld message, and they have opened an email. So I have 528 on that list that have opened an email. Most of my list comes from my Jim Rohn quotes, and I do the same thing with it. I have a Jim Rohn quotes, and I have a Jim Rohn Seinfeld message no, Jim Rohn Seinfeld message open. So this one are my current autoresponder members, meaning that they all... Let me show you the autoresponders. Okay. 2,951 members have come through this autoresponder sequence. And then once they get down to day 4, now, as I've told a few of you, I did this for a while, and it wasn't working well because there was getting to be some overwhelm in my list. Because on day 1, on day 0, they would get my email and they would get my daily email. And then on day 1, they would get my email and they would get my daily email. Then I started moving some of those over to, I joined some of these over to my 30-minute workday list, and those people then would get a third email some days. because they also had 6 or 7 autoresponders, and then they were getting an email from Nick, and then if they joined HBA, they were getting emails from HBA. So they were getting 6 or 7 emails a day from us. That leads to burnout, right? So what I'm doing now is moving those people around instead of adding them. So that's what I've done here. You can see there's a bit of a drop off once they, and I think I moved this email in, but nonetheless. So this will all make more sense as we go. Okay. All right. So today what we're going to do is I have a couple of people that have joined my 30-minute workday. I'll move them over here so you can see. I don't necessarily want you to see the email, but that's okay. One email probably won't hurt. That's my next door neighbor. Don't email him. That's my actual next door neighbor. This is the first person that has joined 30-minute workday that I know. And we just happen to be talking about it. He's like, hey, I'd like to check it out. So anyways, so there's 3 more here. And this is what I do. I copy their email. Then I usually do this on 2 screens, but I need to show you on 1 screen because I can only share one. I could probably share both, but I'm only sharing 1 screen. Then I come here and I search for them. Okay. Now, as you see, this member came through my Jim Rohn Quotes site. So, and this is a group that I've put together using the premium product and the here I have the premium product pulled up. I'll show you. This group, Jim Rohn Quotes, I did using the free Facebook ad method inside of the high tech. So it's basically building a group, and I've gotten almost 15,000 members to that group, and like you saw, hundreds, almost 3,000 leads now. So it's been pretty beneficial. Let me go back to here. So now what I do is I click on the list that this person is on, and then this is going to give some details here. Okay. Now, for whatever reason, probably this person has unsubscribed from my Jim Rohn Quotes list. It's interesting because it just showed that they were on it. I'm going to refresh GetResponse because once in a while I'm in it too long and it acts funny. So again, we'll come right here, put in the email, shows he's on Jim Rohn Quotes, shows he's not on Jim Rohn Quotes. So the reason for that could be because he's moved, but I don't know why it's not showing. Let me do this. Let me put him on all the lists. Okay. So he has moved to Jim Rohn's Open. Okay. And that means that he was on a list where he was opening my emails, and he doesn't have an autoresponder day. That's interesting. This usually has a day on it. Oh, he doesn't have a day because he's moved to a list without a day. So that's a little bit different. Again, I'm still learning this a little bit. I have been using this setup for a week or so now, and it's really been working well. Last week I was actually the top recruiter, and I think it has some to do with this because people are getting less overwhelmed. Okay. So this person is on my Jim Rohn's open list, which means he's at least opened one of my emails throughout the time frame that he was on. And you can see here he's been on since June 16th. So since June 16th, he's opened one of my emails at least. And then you can come in here and you can see what he clicked on. Okay, so he's gotten 4 pages of emails. You see that? That's the overwhelm that we were talking about. Okay. And he clicked on missing out. So he clicked on my latest email and he went ahead and signed up for the 30-minute workday. So now what we're going to do with him is we're going to click his email. We're going to come here to actions, and we're going to move him to our training, to our 30-minute workday training. And currently I only have 1 email in there because, again, I noticed that people were getting way too many emails. I will be cleaning up these lists a little bit. I wanted to see if I had a training open. I think I do. No. Okay, so this means I have a 30-minute workday training, no open, so this means this is my open list. And then I add him to day 0. Now you see there was 7 of them, but they're currently all off except for day 0, copy 1. So I move him over there, and you'll see now, as long as you've highlighted all of these, and I like to do this because then I can make sure that he's moved, okay? Once in a while, he'll stay on the list he was on, and that usually means that he's already on the next list. So sometimes you get people that opt into 2 or 3 different lists, and as you move them around, they won't actually move because they're on the list already. So if that happens and he's on the same list he was on before, then you could just go in here and delete him from the list, and that will delete him out of that old list to prevent him from getting emails out of what you expect him to get. I hope that makes sense. Maybe that will happen. I'll try and show you that. Okay, so this guy is done. He's getting our new list, and he's no longer getting our old list. Okay, so that's important to understand. So now we're going to go back to our emails. Now I checked this guy off because he's done, so I don't forget, because I get distracted a lot. And so we'll check this guy here, copy that. Now all you have to do, since you're already in the process of it, since you had 3 of them, you can just paste him in here and apply. All right. He's also on my Jim Rohn's open list. So this is pretty awesome. That's 2 from my Jim Rohn group that have signed up for 30-minute workday today. You see, he opted in April 10th. April 10th. That's how powerful consistency is, right? So he's been on my list for, usually says how many days. He's been on my list for 2 months. 2 months and some days. 2 months and 20 days. So he's been on my list approximately 80 days and has finally decided to join the 30-minute workday. Let's see what he did. Look at this. He's got 14 pages of emails. So he's been around for a little while, and he too opened my latest one, missing out, and he clicked on the link and he joined a 30-minute workday. Okay? So we're going to do the same thing with him. We know he's on an open list. We know he clicked on stuff. I don't have a clicked link list yet, but I'll probably start working that way too, because clickers are your buyers, right? And then eventually you get them to a buyers list also. This does take a little bit of extra work. I will say it takes a little bit of extra work. But we got 3. I mean, it's not like it's a ton of work, so all right, so we're going to move him over to 30-minute workday training. We're going to add him into day 0, copy 1, because I have 2 different day 0s that one's turned off right now. Okay, you see he moved over. And then we're going to go back to our email. If you don't have 2 monitors, I highly recommend you get 2 monitors because it makes this really much easier. And you can get I got a 3rd monitor actually now, but I got my 2nd monitor from the flea market for $5. I had to get an adapter because it was an old one, but I got an adapter to go from HDMI to VGA. And just hooked it right in for like another $5. Hey, look at that. There's a 3rd Jim Rohn opener that joined my 30-minute workday. So that's pretty awesome. 3 out of 3 were off my Jim Rohn quotes group. Shows you the power of the HBA Premium and what a great product it is. That's just one training in there, and I've gotten $1,500 worth of leads if you were to, well, more than that actually, if you were to price them out to what you'd pay for them. Through the recommended leads. Now I'm still doing recommended leads because again, you can scale that. Jim Rohn Quotes does what it does. I don't have much influence over it. So definitely do the paid leads inside of the system. And okay, so this guy joined May 29th. So 1 month ago. All right. 31 days ago, he joined our list and finally now decided. He saw enough messages. He saw 7 pages of messages. Let's see what. So he's message sent, message sent, message sent. Look at that. All of those were sent. One of them was opened here. That's all he's opened was 1 email prior to my email yesterday. And then he clicked the link and he decided to join 30-minute workday. So now we're going to get him onto the 30-minute workday training. Move him to the list. Now this training basically it's a short video and to show them how to get around the system. And I'll go over there and show you that. And then I have them fill out a form with no real pertinent information, just so that I can see they actually did it. It doesn't even ask for their email. I'll show you that. So we'll move this guy. Made sure he moved. He did. All right. So now we'll go back here, and then I'll go to my 30-minute workday training autoresponders. You can see here, I've got 371 of these have been delivered. I don't know why that number's changed so much. It must have been, oh, that's because the new message. See that? 2 different messages. I've actually delivered well over 500. There was over 600 on this list altogether. So I've shut these off. I'm probably going to start working on turning these back on. But I wanted to show you this message. So it's a real simple message. Basically says, we wanted to take a minute to say hello and welcome. We're excited for you. We love the way the system's working. I've now had over 600 personal signups into the 30-minute workday membership. In order to get you started off quickly, the first thing, meet your business coach, Jim Hall. And then click here for this short video message. Check this out. So I have a short message here that basically walks people through how to get started with 30-minute workday. Nothing real extensive, just shows them how to get through the dashboard. And then I have enter your name, what's your monthly income goal on a scale of 1 through 10, being the most, how serious are you? And then there's a login, and I'm going to see, well, I can't make it. Oh, you got to fill those out. And then this just goes to the 30-minute workday login. And then I have the testimonials down here so people can see that. So I recommend you do that as your initial training. Let people see who you are. I have my Freedom Crusader Alliance shirt on to show them that, I'm part of the Alliance and that they're going to be part of it. When they buy, I actually send them one of those shirts. And so that's what I recommend for that. That's a little off tangent, but that's okay. All right, so now back to emails. So when I start to do my daily email, let me take a drink real quick. My lips are getting sticky. When I do my daily emails, and this is still a little bit challenging to me because I have so many lists. You probably only have 1 or 2 lists. And again, I highly recommend when you buy new traffic, every time you buy traffic, I recommend making a list. It does get a little bit confusing, but now all we have to do is, this is what we're going to do. We're going to go to lists. We're going to show all contacts. Then we're going to do advanced search. Then we're going to, you'll probably select all lists. Here's the challenge. Let me see if I can work this out of my brain. I don't want to send my daily email to the 30-minute training. I don't want to send it to my wife's people. Oh, yeah. So we're not sending yet. I don't want to send it to my wife's people. We don't need to do the opens and the nos, because that's what we're about to add to. Eventually, you'll probably want to clean up your opens and nos, but I just recently cleaned them up, so we won't do that just yet. I won't do it to the book opens and nos. I won't do it to the 30-minute workday nos. I won't do it to the 30-minute workday opens and nos, because again, we're adding to those. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to get everybody off of our other lists because they're in the 4-day initial cycle, and we don't want to interrupt that initial cycle, because if we interrupt them, they're going to be confused. Okay, eventually The point is to get those first 4 or 5 emails, whichever way you're doing it, to kind of mesh together and tell them a story that drags them along to each day. And that's a lot of what Nick's emails do, and that's a lot of what your emails in general should do. Okay, so I think I have that sorted the way that I want it. Let me go through and look. I got to take that one out. We don't want any training in here. Okay. So, as your lists go down to 0, you should probably delete them. I haven't quite got there yet. Okay, so now we're going to apply this, and here's what we want to do. We want to add a condition, and we want our condition to be contact actions autoresponder day is greater than 4. Okay, so make sure that all your lists have the same amount of emails, the same amount of autoresponder days. And then what's going to happen is this is going to sort everybody out. So all of these people have finished. Even though it says 4, that means they've already gotten autoresponder 4, because we've done greater than 4, which means they've received the 4th day autoresponder. Okay. Now we're going to take this list and we're going to, oops. Okay. We want to add another condition. We want to determine, have they not opened anything, any message. So we want to determine, have they not opened any message ever. I know it says never. I don't know why it says that really. Okay. So 21 of these have not opened our autoresponder sequence. Okay. So we want to move those to a different list so that we can start emailing them smaller, catchier, action-taking type emails. Okay. And so now what we're going to do is we're going to take those and we're going to move them. We're going to move them to a list, and we could probably start to make autoresponders for this list that are short, catchy, very toned towards, hey, open me, basically. You know what I mean? I mean, you want all your emails to be that way, but you also want them to have meaning. Now, these people were just to the point that we want them to open, period. We want to get their attention somehow. Even if we have to be a little spammy or a little odd. You know, you might put in some messages that don't make a lot of sense with some intrigue and just get their attention. Okay? So what we're going to do here is we're going to move these to our open list. Now, we kind of needed to, we also wanted to take them off of the book list. That's okay. We're not going to worry about that. I think we're going to narrow that down and get away from the book if they've not opened by now. Okay, so 30-minute workday, Seinfeld list, no open. We're going to move those there. Now that should make everyone go away. Okay, great. You see this? This is one of those that didn't move because he's already on our no open list. Isn't that interesting? So now what we're going to do is we're going to take him and we're just going to delete him from the list so that we get him off of this list. Okay? Now you see there's nobody left. So now we're going to take this away, and there's 12 people that still need to move. So we're going to move those over to our 30-minute workday open, because these people now, we've determined that everybody else of this set didn't open, so these are our openers. And our openers we're gonna still be able to talk to a little better, and this will help us get a better open rate as we go along, because we can continue to email these every day. And that the no open list, we're only going to email them maybe once a week, maybe every couple of days, so that we're staying in touch with them. But because they're not really buyers, they're not really openers, we're not going to spend as much time on them because they're hurting our open rates. Okay, because the system is saying, hey, you're sending this message to a whole bunch of people and nobody's opening it. So if we move that back to only sending them to one time a week, it's not affecting our system quite so bad. Okay. So we're going to move them to that. And now we're ready to do our daily email. Okay. So a little bit of work. Like I said, if you only have a couple of lists, I've pretty much decided what I'm going to do for my ad campaigns is I'm only going to use one list for each source. I can at this point figure out pretty quickly within one or two purchases of ads whether or not the source is any good. And for the most part, I've found that almost no source outside of the recommended sources in the 30-minute workday are any good. So I encourage you to at least stay with the sources inside of the 30-minute workday until you understand how to figure out if the sources are any good or not, because it's important to understand that part. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our lists, and I always create my my list has changed. Isn't that interesting? Oh, because I just recently resorted by name. Okay. I always do my daily newsletter on my default list. And the reason for that is all of my newsletters will then show up here. Okay. Now, I have started to send a separate email to my 30-minute workday buyers, my 30-minute workday signups, so that I can target them slightly different on the tools that are inside of the system. But this one, we're gonna send our newsletter to everybody. Now, you probably don't need to see any more than this. That's the sorting. And then once we step through, we're just gonna send it to those opened lists. Okay. I will go through and sort out my Jim Rohn quotes separately now. Let's go ahead and do that too. Since you're here, we will do show all contacts. We'll do advanced search. We're going to do we'll unselect all of them because we don't need all of them for this, and then we're going to move our Jim Rohn quotes. So we'll just apply that one. And then we're going to do the same process again. Okay. Now, you probably won't have this. We're going to add a condition. We're going to do a contact actions. We're going to do autoresponder is greater than 4. All of my lists have 4 emails, so this makes it easy. That's interesting. So nobody has progressed yet in my Jim Rohn quotes. I wonder if I just moved them. I don't think I did, but maybe I did. Okay. That's all right. If you make a mistake once in a while, it's not going to hurt you too much. You've moved them to your open list. I don't specifically write any Jim Rohn quotes emails, so it won't matter too much. In fact, maybe I'll just get away from a Jim Rohn open list because it will be one less step I have to do, at least until I commit to doing a specific one for that. Okay, so that's it. So now you email to your open lists every single day and pick a day of the week or maybe 2 days of the week that you send something a little more creative to try and get those non-openers to open. All right, I hope that's helpful. I'm not going to edit this or anything, so well, when you get here, you'll find that out. So there's probably a lot of ums and rights and ands, but this is for my own group of people, so hopefully it's good enough to get through, and there was some good training for you in here. I'll talk soon.